Alright, welcome to episode 191 of Psycho's Platters. Still more 45s. That's what we got going today. Always powered by coffee. Every time, all the time. So, we got this time, I think we're going to call this Missouri 45 finds, because all of these, to my knowledge, were all found in a church resale shop and an antique mall, all in southwest Missouri. This would have been, I don't know, it's kind of funny. I found these things, I want to say they were in the spring. I found these in the spring, except for the last couple quarter apiece is all I got on these. We'll start off with, of course, on Gaiden. From September 1959, Marion Worth. Yeah, I got lots of research here, kids. Marion Worth, Are You Willing, Willie? Kind of sounds something strange, don't it? This kind of pop country is what it is on Gaiden here. Born in Birmingham, Alabama. Originally, this was on the Alabama label Cherokee in September of '59. But then she ended up getting this released in November of '59 on Gaiden, courtesy of Hoppy Wilson, who's the owner of Gaiden at that time, and he ends up marrying her too, of course, which is kind of funny. She ends up doing 2 singles on Gaiden, but through 1960 to 67, late 60s, 67, she's on Columbia, 68 to 70 on Decca. She ended up having a couple top 20 hits in the mid-60s. She also was one of the first country singers to perform in Carnegie Hall. It's true. And for the last few years of her life, she performed in Vegas before she passed away in December of 1999. Marion Worth from '59. Next, this one I thought was the coolest 45 almost out of the bunch. Girl of My Dreams, Robert Luke Harshman. White label promo on Gaiden. This came out in August of '59. Now, why am I saying, first of all, both sides of this is pretty awesome, actually. It is teen pop, little doo-wopish in parts, but it's pretty cool. Let me give you a little story as to why this is kind of sort of significant. Robert Lou Harshman started on the Malibu, California label Radio in February of '59, and he changed his name on records to Bobby Hart. Yes, that's right, that Bobby Hart. By 1961, cut a single on Era and other small labels. Tommy Boyce met Bobby Hart in '59, and he plays on the '61 Era single, Girl in the Window. By 1965, Boyce and Hart wrote, produced, and performed the soundtrack for the Monkees TV pilot episode, and including singing lead vocals, which of course were replaced when the show was cast. They worked with the Monkees and their own career, and by 1971 they took a break. In 1975 to early '77, they ended up being involved in the Jones Jones, Boyce and Hart group, which I thought was a very cool group. And in '79, first Bobby Hart solo album was released in Europe, which I brought up his backstory and that particular solo album in said review from 7A Records. Go take a look at that episode. I think you'll be interested about a bunch of other things. And of course, that was released on CD in 2016. But yes, really nice to have one of Bobby Hart's first solo 45s before he got, well, famous. Very awesome there. Alright, this next one is really the only unknown one in the group, but maybe somebody out there could help me out on this. Okay, the lady's Jane Darwin. The song's called Cross My Heart. This is on Park Central Records out of Phoenix, Arizona. Now, I know there's a couple Arizona people out there. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I cannot... Hog's Ear Report. Yeah, I know he watches this show once in a while. Hog's Ear Report, and I know there's somebody else out of Arizona, but anywho, it mentions an address here. Can't even read it, but it does say Phoenix, Arizona. Cross My Heart, and the flip is there's nothing new. My best guess on this is I know there was a Park Central Mall in Phoenix, Arizona. So maybe that's where the label ended up grabbing that name from. Maybe it was near the mall in Phoenix in the 60s. But I'm guessing 1960s on this one. Anybody that knows anything about this, drop it in the comments, please. I'd be very curious. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet, though, to give you a little bit better interpretation. Alright, one of my favorite 50s and 60s singers, Fats Domino, Whole Lot of Lovin'. Very quick song, under 2 minutes. This one here came out in November of '58. It was written by Fats and Dave Bartholomew, pretty much his right-hand man for all of the Imperial years. Number 6 on the Billboard charts. It charted in mid-January '59. Number 2 on the R&B charts. Went gold. Stayed with Imperial till 1962, Fats did, and then went on to ABC. And he's still around, thankfully enough. Coquette, the flip here. Number 61 on Cashbox. Number 26 on the Billboard R&B charts. The last hit, by the way, for Fats with Imperial, You Win Again, which came out in February '62. Almost made it to top 20. Number 22 on the Billboard charts. But I like Whole Lot of Lovin'. I like pretty much most of the 50s Fats stuff. That's what I really like. I like some of the 60s, but the 50s is what really gets me all the time from him. I think the last thing I heard him do was a CD project in '06. I'm not sure if I'm getting my facts right on that. And by the way, most of the episode here, courtesy of Wiki and 45 Cat, but there are other ones too, like this next one I'm going to talk about. This I thought was one of my better. The Robert Luke Harshman was out of the church resale shop, but so was this. City of Angels from Highlights. This is doo-wop, September of '56. Bally is the label. It was a Chicago label, and yes, it actually was an offshoot of Bally Manufacturing. The same people that made pinball machines decided they thought they were going to get into records. Pretty much Bally only existed '56 and '57. But this one here, like I said, Chicago group from DePaul University. This particular song here, number 5 it hit in the Chicago market, number 19 on Billboard. In the spring of '57, they would end up having one more hit that would charted, To Be With You, 84 on the Billboard charts. Frank Pisani, hope I'm getting that right, went solo and recorded for Bally and Afton labels in '57 through '59, and then ended up under other names and continued to record until the mid-'70s. All of that information came from a combination of 45 Cat and another awesome site, White Doo-Wop Collector. That's another good one, and Bad Cat Records. So the highlights, September of '56. Next one I got, we go into the '60s for a minute. Spencer Davis Group on United Artists, Time Seller from July of '67. Made it to number 30 in the UK. Steve and Muff Winwood were members of Spencer Davis Group, but they left the group in early '67. And Steve, of course, went to form Traffic. Muff ended up working as an A&R man for Island Records. And Spencer Davis regrouped with Phil Sawyer, former Shotgun Express, with Mick Fleetwood, and Eddie Harden, who would end up taking drummer Pete York from Spencer Davis and forming the group Harden York in '69. And in the '70s, he would form a band called Axis Point in '79. Very cool A and B, actually. Time Seller is an awesome thing. The B-side here, Don't Want Me No More, was actually covered by the Allman Brothers in '69. Like I said, I like both sides of this one. Time Seller from Spencer Davis. Next here, from November of '55, the Laurie Sisters, When You Dance. Band out of Atlas, Pennsylvania. The trio of singers who took their name from the Pennsylvania state flower, the mountain laurel. All sang separately as kids in the '40s, but by '49, Ted Steele's show on WOR-TV, I read here, That's where they ended up getting the better exposure. They recorded for Derby, Mercury, MGM. The Vic sides are pretty cool. I went and listened to them on YouTube. That's about as close as you were going to get to, like, girl group with a slight rockabilly twinge. Try to find those sides too. Those are awesome. But the last single was in '68, but they broke up as an act in 1980 due to taking care of their families. That information provided by 45 Cat and the Laurie Sisters website. Yes, they have a website. This next one here, these last three are from an antique mall near Springfield, Missouri. My buddy Doug Fields gave me my first copy of this 45. This is a slightly better copy on Calico of Since I Don't Have You. I always liked this tune. Jimmy Beaumont and Joe Rock and the rest of the Skyliners. Joe Rock was their first manager, and the rest of the Skyliners co-wrote this. Joe wrote the lyrics to this about a breakup with Joe Rock's girlfriend, and he wrote the lyrics on his way home from the breakup. This came out in late '58, number 12 on the Billboard charts, number 7 in Cashbox. Believe it or not, Skyliners are still going, but it's down to Jimmy Beaumont and former Igniters and Jaggers member Frank, I hope I'm getting this right, Zany? My spelling's atrocious. Don McLean covered this in 1981. The Skyliners, they broke up in '63, but they had one last 45 in 1974. And even the flip One Night's real good, too. Alright, almost done, kids. Lastly, we have a pair of Elvises. A pair of Elvis 45s that, you know what, truthfully, I've never seen a copy of either of these. Well, did I? No. I've never seen a copy of either of these in all the years I've collected Elvis. So, this next one here, Indescribably Blue, was recorded in June 1966, released in January '67. Number 33 on the Billboard charts, number 26 on Cashbox. Daryl Glenn, who wrote Crying in the Chapel, also wrote this A-side. The flip, Fools Fall in Love. Lieber Stoller, Drifters originally did that tune. It actually charted at 102 on Billboard. Now, believe it or not, for this 45 and the next 45, all came from Elvis Songpedia. That is the name of the website. Really cool site to be able to find out the history of some of the songs that the King recorded. Awesome. ElvisSongpedia.com. Lastly, for 45s today, Big Boss Man from Elvis Presley. This came out, it was recorded, this amazes me how quickly this came out. Recorded on the 10th of September in '67, released September 26th of '67. 16 days from recording to mastering to pressing. How about that for fast, huh? I still wish things were like that. I mean, I know in the age of the internet you can do that, but this still amazes me. Actually went number 38 on the Billboard. Jimmy Reed originally recorded that in 1961. Jerry Reed is on guitar. Charlie McCoy on harmonica. Scotty Moore, DJ Fontana, yeah, I love those guys, and others were on that session. The flip here, You Don't Know Me, co-written by Eddie Arnold. Number 34 on the Easy Listening Billboard chart. Number 44, straight Billboard 100. Came from the movie Clam Bake. Now that particular track used take 20 in the film, but for the single it was take 1. With towards the end it was a take 2 on the final seconds there. So pretty awesome. Like I said, I've never seen either one of these out in the wild. I will always grab Elvis. Those in the Skyliner buck a piece, and they are in like seriously. So, you know, I want to say at least BG plus each for these. Not too shabby for what I got there. All right. New subs. That's right, I've got a few since the last time I did a vinyl episode. Richard Z, Rick Hubbard, Robert Savage, M.O., and Phil Baker. That's right. And you know what, guys? I have to apologize about something. I really, really do here. Mighty Psycho has to apologize. For the last few weeks, I went off and I mentioned that, barring anything stupid, I would be at the Tulsa Record Show. Unfortunately, that show, of course, coming on Saturday, July 15th at Mammoth Comics in Tulsa, I will not be able to be there. I'm not going to get into real specifics. I'm just going to say that the reason for the canceling of the trip involved a close friend's family member, okay, and prayers to that family member. But that's okay. It's an annual thing, and I'll just show up next year. That'll be cool. And maybe there'll be some other record shows around. Anybody in Missouri, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and even Kansas maybe, tell me if you guys get record shows. Put it in the comments, please, because I really would like to know. I would be willing to go once every 6 months into your area and maybe go visit. Seriously, I would love to see all the other people out there in YouTube land and the record collecting, vinyl community. So, like I said, I apologize about not being able to be at the record show, but there'll be more. There'll be more in the future. I just appreciate all the new subs and to my channel here. There's only going to be a handful more episodes being filmed. Yes, with the Care Bear curtain behind me, because I get to move in a couple weeks. We're going to be having a different place. I'm trying to figure out exactly where I'm going to be filming. So I would say maybe about 2 to 3 more weeks before I go on hiatus for a couple weeks. Okay, guys? So Psycho's disappearing for a little bit, coming soon, but not for long. Not for long, okay? So if you haven't liked and subbed yet to Psycho's Platters, please do so. Just literally a couple days ago broke the 450 sub mark. I'm really happy about that, heading towards 500. There will be, of course, always classic vinyl and new album reviews, but coming soon there could be occasional interesting side episodes that may behoove you. Interviews, store visits, two upcoming store visits probably in the next couple months. We're going to be doing that too. So everybody take care. God bless. Rock on, and catch you on the flip side. That's right.